And it looked like Kelsey Mitchell is in some serious hot water yet again. Guys, for this one here.
Kelsey Mitchell thought it was a good idea to throw shade with her. We need talk, and fans caught every word. The question is, will she regret it now that Clark and Cunningham's names are in the mix? So what do you think? Was Kelsey just pumping up her squad, or did she cross the line into disrespect? Kelsey Mitchell has been with the Indiana Fever long before the team was a headline machine. She played through the losing seasons, the empty seats, and the years when nobody cared what the Fever did. For that, she deserves credit. But here's the problem. Being the longest tenure player doesn't give you the license to say whatever you want without consequences. And that's exactly what happened when Kelsey repeated her line. We all we got. We all we need.
Been here for the good, the bad, the ugly, and pretty much ever since the team been trash. Now, ever since Caitlin has got to the team, ever since Caitlin has joined the team, the Indiana Fever has grown notoriety across the world. They is the hottest WNBA team in the country and pretty much one of the biggest teams in all of sports. With all of that being said, Kelsey Mitchell has been taking it upon herself to kind of say a little thing.
On the surface, it looks like standard locker room motivation. Teams say stuff like that all the time, but context is everything. She admitted that this mantra started when Caitlin Clark went down with her injury. That's where the trouble begins.
Teammates said yesterday that you started saying in the huddles, we're all we got, we all we need.
Yeah, I said we all we got, we all we need, yeah.
How did that kind of come about, and do you remember when you started sharing that message?
Probably, it might have been after somebody got hurt. I won't even lie to you. It was early on. I think it was when CC got hurt, and I felt like it was deflating. It was hard for people to kind of see us and see our energy for what we brought to the table as a team. Hats off to CC for being a great teammate and having to go through so much with injury. But like the all we got, all we need was it's a staple to who we trying to be as a team and who we want our culture to be. We can't help the ones that's not here, which is unfortunate, but we can help who is. And be present about that and not disrespect the game because, I would like to think that CC, Aries, Sid would want to play and be in our shoes. And so I think the all we got, all we need is just, it's kind of like a respect thing, but to put it in the air that we all we got and we all we need. Because
think about what that really implies. When Clark was sidelined instead of focusing on supporting her teammate and future of the franchise, Mitchell's rally cry was essentially, she's out, but we don't need her anyway. Maybe Kelsey didn't mean it that way, but that's how fans heard it. And once those words are out in public, you don't get to control the narrative.
She's dissing Caitlin Clark, but a lot of people is insinuating that. Now, we have seen time and time again members of her family even take shots at Caitlin Clark. Now,
This is the second time the Mitchell family has been caught in the crosshairs with Clark. Let's not forget a few months ago her relatives were online throwing shade at Caitlin. Tweets, comments, and subtle digs were flying. Fans noticed, and now hearing Kelsey herself repeat this mantra linked directly to Clark's absence, people are connecting the dots and not in her favor. The irony here is that without Caitlin Clark, the Fever wouldn't even be on the national radar. Mitchell's been dropping buckets for years, but those games didn't trend on Twitter. Those games didn't get ESPN segments or sell out arenas. Clark's arrival changed everything. The Fever are now the hottest ticket in the WNBA, not because of their win-loss record, but because Caitlin is the star fans came to see. And what about Sophie Cunningham? Her name gets dragged into this drama because fans are seeing a pattern. Mitchell isn't just shading Clark. She's been petty toward other players who bring attention to the league. Sophie, for example, has her share of haters, but she's embraced her role as a lightning rod. She's unapologetic, physical, and a constant headline. Sound familiar? That's because Caitlin Clark is in the same boat. Loved by many, hated by plenty, but undeniably the center of attention. So, when Mitchell's words start sounding dismissive of Clark, fans lump Sophie in too because both are players who take heat for being the face of a moment. Cunningham has dealt with dirty plays, online criticism, and endless debates about her attitude. And instead of solidarity from fellow players, sometimes she gets shade. Now Mitchell is facing the same accusation of tearing down instead of building up.
Kelsey, through all the ups and downs of this season, and I know you have bigger goals in mind, but the team ensured a 500 finish, back-to-back years doing that. I mean,
it's a big deal.
Right, given everything that this team has gone through this year, and the fact that you guys, I think, are one win away from securing a playoff spot, like, what did it take to kind of stay the course, and what does that mean to just at least get that one thing kind of checked off?
It's definitely a stepping stone in the right direction. I think considering where this organization has been and some of the great players that's come through it, we got to look at this, like I said, for a winning moment tonight. It doesn't happen a lot, and where we've been at, you guys know what it's been like the last couple of years here, and so to see the tables kind of turn, it works in our favor, and I think that we deserve it from a standpoint of we put the work in to be here, and so I like to think that you guys gonna keep sticking it with us too, because you guys deserve it. In order to capture good content and all that, you got to win, and so I think it goes together as far as both sides, but I think it's definitely important for us to kind of bask in it for a little bit, because I remember where this group was.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Kelsey is a bucket getter. She's one of the most consistent scorers in the league. But buckets don't always equal leadership. Leadership means recognizing the bigger picture. When you say we need the moment your teammate goes down, it sounds like subtraction instead of addition. And that's where instant regret comes in, because the fans aren't letting it slide. The Fever's rise has everything to do with Caitlin Clark, whether Mitchell likes it or not. The TV ratings, Caitlin. The sold-out games, Caitlin. The jerseys flying off shelves, Caitlin. Kelsey can put up 28 points, and most people won't even notice until someone posts the box score. Clark puts up 15 with a couple highlight threes, and it's viral within minutes. That's not disrespect to Mitchell's game. It's reality. But rather than embrace that and use it to her advantage, Mitchell's comments look like resentment. Fans hear her mantra and think she doesn't appreciate what Clark brings. And that's a dangerous perception, because once fans believe you're jealous of your teammate, the narrative writes itself. And Sophie Cunningham knows all about narratives. She's been painted as the villain of the league. Anytime something physical happens, Sophie's name trends. She's been labeled dirty, cocky, and everything in between. But guess what? She doesn't back down. She knows who she is and plays her role. And now, because Kelsey Mitchell's comments remind fans of that same dismissive energy, her name is pulled into the conversation. The sad part, the Fever actually need Clark and Mitchell to coexist if they want to win. This isn't about who scores more or who gets more shine. It's about balance. Mitchell's scoring and Clark's playmaking could be a perfect duo, but every time one throws shade, directly or indirectly, that chemistry gets harder to build. And let's be real, Sophie Cunningham would laugh her way through this entire mess. She's been through it already. She's seen what happens when teammates throw shade or when fans twist every word into a headline. Sophie thrives on that chaos. But Mitchell, she doesn't. She looks uncomfortable when the spotlight is negative. And now, thanks to this we need mantra, she's stuck in it. Here's the kicker. The Fever didn't exactly light up the scoreboard without Clark. They scrape together wins, sure, but when your rally cry is, we don't need her, you better back it up with dominance. Instead, they were inconsistent. That makes Mitchell's words look even worse. If you're going to say you don't need Clark, then prove it by winning big. Otherwise, you're just handing critics ammunition.
It's
Almost funny. The same players who roll their eyes at Clark's attention don't realize how much they benefit from it. Without Clark, nobody's talking about Mitchell's comments at all. Nobody
cares.
But with Clark's spotlight, everything is magnified. And that's the price of fame. If you're on her team, you live in that spotlight, too.
Now,
Here's where the regret part really hits. Kelsey Mitchell didn't expect fans to turn on her for a simple locker room
phrase.
But once context connected it to Clark's injury, the interpretation shifted. Suddenly, she's not a leader rallying
Her team.
She's a veteran dismissing the player who turned the fever into a phenomenon. That's not a good look.
And
When you pile Sophie Cunningham into the mix, it gets messy because Sophie's whole career has been about dealing with disrespect and proving doubters wrong. Now fans are saying, see, Mitchell's doing the same thing to Clark that others have done to Sophie. That's not the company you want to keep if your goal is to look like a leader.
the
Truth is simple. Mitchell doesn't have to love Caitlin Clark. She doesn't even have to be best friends with her.
but
She has to respect what Clark means to the franchise because without her, the Fever are just another small market team, struggling to stay relevant. With her, they're a national story. And Sophie
Cunningham.
She's a reminder of what happens when you become the face of hate. No matter how well she plays, people talk more about her attitude than her stats.
If
Mitchell isn't careful, she'll get painted with the same brush. And the worst part, she won't even realize it until it's too late. The story doesn't stop at one press conference. Once the clip of Kelsey Mitchell saying, we all we need, hit social media. Fans dissected every syllable. And once Caitlin Clark's name got linked to it, the debate exploded.
some
Defended Kelsey, saying she was just trying to pump up her squad. Others saw it as undeniable shade, proof that jealousy is alive and well inside Indiana's locker room.
and here's the
Thing, perception matters more than intention. Maybe Kelsey meant no harm. Maybe it was just a routine line to fire up her teammates. But perception can drown in tension any day of the week, especially when Caitlin Clark's name is involved. Fans don't give benefit of the doubt when they think their star is being disrespected. That's where the regret sets in. Mitchell is smart enough to know she can't outshine Clark in the media. She can outscore her on the court. Occasionally, sure, but in terms of attention, it's not even close. Every headline revolves around Clark. Every press conference, every ESPN highlight, every debate show. When Mitchell tries to plant her own narrative, it gets compared against Clark's spotlight, and she ends up looking smaller by default. And Sophie Cunningham enters this conversation for the same reason.
she's
Lived through the cycle of being the league's villain. People boo her, people call her dirty, and yet she keeps